I'm Scott Aldridge, the program manager for OLLI-UA, and welcome to our hybrid class. We are here at our Central Tucson campus, a great audience of around 80 people, and looks like we're going to have about over 100 people joining us online for the webinar today. So I want to welcome you all. And just this is exciting. We're about to launch our fall program, or we actually have launched our fall registration. And for those of you who are not familiar with OLLI, we have an amazing lifelong learning program designed for adults 50 plus. And it's really much more than lifelong learning. It's about community and connection and ability to take hundreds of classes a year for sure, but it's also a volunteer-run organization, opportunities to help in all kinds of capacities, including teaching. And we really invite you to explore our website right now at olli.arizona.edu to learn about an incredible fall program, one of our largest in years, with over 250 offerings, both in person in Tucson, as well as in Green Valley, and classes online. We also have field trips and dining out events and a lot of amazing activities going on. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today and our guests with Tucson Foodie. Well, with that, I'll turn it over to Rob Getlin, who can introduce himself from OLLI and take it away.
Hi, I'm Rob Getlin. I'm one of the board of directors of OLLI. One of the things that we have really been pleased to do over the years is to work with the folks at Tucson Foodie, and they have come and helped us out by doing this program. I used to run a class years ago called The Hidden Gems of Tucson Restaurants, where we talked about restaurants. Most people, and I would probably imagine most of you too, you have your like 2 favorite restaurants that you go to, and you keep passing that restaurant on Campbell or Oracle and go, I really should go in there. It looks pretty good. Or there's a new restaurant, or there's some crazy new fad, and you're thinking maybe I should go. Well, these folks, if you're unfamiliar with Tucson Foodie, they have a great website that if you had tried previously years ago, they had a paywall on there. The paywall is gone. And so it's always available for you. And what I think is so fantastic about Tucson Foodie, beyond the other features they have, is that it's constantly being updated with information about new restaurants that come and go. And with that, I would like to introduce Addie from Tucson Foodie, and she will start her presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Addie Ibarra. I'm the community director with Tucson Foodie. I wanted to thank Rob and Scott for inviting us for a 3rd year to come back and chat about the new restaurants and all things foodie. So thanks everyone in the OLLI program for having us. Let's get started. What is Tucson Foodie? Actually, I'm going to have Shane come up here because I think it's only fair that as the CEO and owner, he gets to chat about what his vision is for Tucson Foodie and how that's come to life. So
just 3 years ago, Tucson Foodie was only a media company, and all you would do is read our articles, follow us on social media. But I took over 3 years ago from the guy who started it like 10 years ago. The company's over 10 years old, and turned it into more of a community. So that's why we have a community manager now. We have a full-time social media person, which I'm not sure Tucson Foodie had. Yeah, Tucson Foodie had somebody focused on that. But we're way more than just content these days. We're kind of 3 things. We're content, we're events, and we're community. Next for me. So on the, real quick, the team, you've met Addie, you've met myself. Hannah is here. Hannah runs all of our social media. She's doubled our Instagram reach. A lot of people only know Tucson Foodie as social media. Literally, they're like, oh, I follow you on Instagram. I'm like, oh, do you read our website? No. You get our newsletter? No. You've been to our events? You do events? So Hannah is Tucson Foodie just as much as I'm Tucson Foodie, as much as Jackie is Tucson Foodie. So we have very different followers, very different audiences and different channels. Eddie runs all of our community stuff, which we'll tell you about in a second. And Jackie is our newest hire. although he was involved with Tucson Foodie before any of us were, right? So, which is cool. So he's come back to Tucson Foodie, and he is our editor. And I'm not sure. Yeah, he's going to talk later, so he can introduce himself. But he's got a great background in both food and media. All right, next slide. So on the content side, we do a lot of work. We spend a lot of money and time putting together great content. And like, was it Scott that said, it's all free? Rob, it's all free for you. We don't charge anymore for our content. We do feature stories that Jackie and other freelance writers in the community write. We do curated guides. These are super popular and these are new. We launched these about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago. But these are cool. They work great on your phone. They're interactive with the map. It puts a little blue dot on the map so you know where you're at. And we got over 100 of these things done. Everything from best places for a date night to new restaurants that have opened in the last 6 months to best breakfast burrito. You want to know what our most popular guide is? You want to take a guess? Anybody? Pizza's like up there, right? No, it's what Shane's favorite restaurants are. It's our favorite. That's our most popular. I was really happy about that. I made it because it's I get this question all the time. What's your favorite restaurant, Shane? And it's so hard for me to answer that question. So now I can just say, here, read this. There's all my favorite stuff. And then we do a bunch of stuff on Instagram. And we do stuff on Instagram that we don't do on the website and vice versa. So it's original content in both places. So I encourage you to interact with us in all of our channels. We also run a lot of events. This was a big initiative for us when I took over. My background is in running festivals and economic development and small business development. So I am in nonprofit stuff. So my firm belief is let's support the economy, let's support local businesses, let's support local restaurants, and let's give people cool stuff to do in Tucson. So we run events that achieve all of those. So we run the Tucson Craft Beer Crawl, right? It supports local craft beer, it supports local restaurants, and it supports people who like to drink a lot of beer. We also run Vegan Night Market. Who's been to this by chance? Hey.
It's right down the street.
Are you vegan? Oh, cool. Well, no. Okay. This is huge. We now get over 4,000 people every time we do it 4 times per year. We do it quarterly. And I started it with Hannah, who is also death-free foodie on Instagram, lifelong vegan or vegan for a long time. But the community has really come out in a big way on this. Over 80% of the people, maybe more, aren't vegan, but we have 65 vendors, lots of amazing food to try, weird food, all different types of cuisines. We've had food trucks from Phoenix come down. It's a huge event, and it's growing. We just launched food truck roundups at Casino del Sol. We had 5,000 people come last weekend. But we've done it 4 times. It went from 1,000, 2,000, 2,500, boom, 5,000. So now we have this. We do it every month. So come down to Casino del Sol and hit up. We're gonna have like 30. We have like 30 food trucks, and we always do bring in new trucks and some favorites, and then you can go gamble and get drunk. We just launched Asian Night Market, and it was kind of a difficult event because we expected 2,000 people. We had over 5,000 people show up, according to the angry police. So we're expanding that. We're doing it 4 times a year now. But there's actually tons of amazing Asian food in Tucson, especially if you define Asian with the whole Asian diaspora, right? Indian, Hawaiian, and everything in between. So there's so much. And it's not just food. It's Asian Night Market, not Asian Food Night Market. So we have a whole lineup of music and dancing, and we have tons of artists come out. So that's a new awesome cultural event that we're launched, and we're doing it in partnership with the Tucson Chinese Cultural Center and 5 or 6 Asians on the organizing team and me. We do Soarin' Restaurant Week. That's coming up very soon here. It's going to be September 5th through the 14th. It's a 10-day event. It's not really an event that you go to. It is more of a PR campaign. And so during these 10 days, there's over 100 restaurants in Tucson that are going to give you 20% off. And they put a cute little menu together, and you can go and ask for the Soarin' Restaurant Week menu, and it's 20% off what it normally is, sometimes more than 20% off. And it's just a great way to encourage you to go explore more restaurants. Every big city needs a restaurant week. We do that here. And we do a bunch of other stuff. Oh, I was going to take this off because I didn't know if it was appropriate for the community. Who here smokes cannabis? Hey, a couple to the back. I know that most of you do. You're just not raising your hands. Liars. Yeah, a lot of glaucoma in here. All right. That was his joke. That was his joke. Next slide.
I just wanted, you didn't talk about Desert Magic, and that's a brand new event that we're doing. And it's supposed to be, if anyone's been to the Saka event Savor at the Botanical Garden, it's going to be similar to that at the Tohono Chul on August 25th. It's on a Monday. Really encourage you guys to check that one out. It's brand new to us.
I'm excited for that one. It's celebrating both the culinary and medicinal properties of local native plants. I've got 9 chefs, some of the best chefs in Tucson, who really focus on curating locally and using local Sonoran ingredients. So you get to walk around the garden, have small bites from all these different chefs, but then we also have wellness practitioners, like in between them. So everything from sound healing to massage, to acupuncture, and people are going to be making salves and tinctures and teaching you how to do that. We've got some really cool music. So that's kind of a wellness and food combined event. And it's like 70% sold out, and it's on a Monday night, and it's only $44, and you're going to get 16 ounces of food, plus all the other, everything is included. All the wellness practitioner stuff's included, so it's a great price. So content, events, and last but not least, community. I'm going to let Addie talk about this.
Awesome. Well, I'll start. We've got a community-based app, so we've got a membership called Foodie Insiders, and it's great because it's building community one app at a time. So it's an app that you can download from the Google or Apple Play Store, and basically gives you access to other foodies in the community because you're able to attend our events, go to our monthly mixers, our monthly dinners. I met Nadine and John because we went wine tasting. Again, we're just building community, drinking wine, but it's about entering this membership. And I'm going to let Shane, yeah, and the vouchers.
So this was a big strategic move for us. If you remember, we used to charge for our content, and now we don't. We had to make money somehow. And also, Tucson Foodie used to ask local restaurants for money to do articles. We don't do that anymore either. So as soon as I bought the company, I just shut down all of our revenue streams. So, and then I put all my life savings into it. Anyway, we launched festivals. We make money there. This is the other way that we support ourselves. And so for $20 a month, you get access to the dinners we do every month at a different restaurant and the mixers that Addie mentioned. But we've also lined up $6,000 worth of gift cards to over 100 local restaurants. So you can go out and patronize these local restaurants, explore new restaurants. Who only goes to like the same 5 restaurants? A lot of people just go to the same 5 restaurants out of routine, but there's like so many good restaurants in Tucson. It's the second most common reason people visit Tucson. It's the first one, according to Visit Tucson data, it's to visit family and friends, and then it's food, and then it's wellness. Now, as Jonathan will tell you later, we are a UNESCO City of Gastronomy, and we got that designation for a reason. We have to keep proving ourselves consistently to keep that designation. So the proof's in the pudding, and more people are recognizing it. Our web traffic has doubled in the last 2 years, and it went from 8% outside of Tucson to now over 28% or something. Massive amount of people from outside of Tucson looking at Tucson and coming and visiting. Yep, so that's what you get when you join the club. So that's us, content, events, and the club community.
And I think
we
touched on this. So that's the passport. We've got the one that, like Shane said, it's $6,000 in savings essentially because we've got over 100 restaurants on the app. It's like having the entertainment book in your phone. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the entertainment book, but lots of great deals. So that's part of the passport. So we've got the food one. And then, like I mentioned, we've also got the wine one because we believe heavily in our wine region. We've got 3 Arizona Viticultural Association or some sort of designation, AVA, with Sonoita, Wilcox, and then the Verde Valley. So we've got great wine an hour away from us. So that's why we launched the wine passport as well. And like I said, that's where I met Nadine and John, and we drank some wine. Just recapping, event perks, you're supporting your local journalism as well.
All right. I think for this next session, we're going to ask Jackie, our editor, to come up And this is the fun stuff. So thanks for listening to all about who we are, what we do, why we exist. But let's talk about all the new restaurants that are opening in Tucson that you guys need to check out. Stuff that's opened recently and stuff that's about to open. Jackie Tran, everybody.
Woo!
Howdy, y'all. All right, so La Esquina, we have it opened just off of 4th Avenue on 9th Street. It's a really good date spot. So the interior, I took this photo right here. You can see this is during the daytime, but at night it's nice and warm. A good selection of wine and amari as well. And they have a kitchen as well that they're leaning a little more into these days. So it's kind of more Spanish influenced bites like pan con tomate, so the bread with tomato and garlic, anchovies, tin fish, that sort of thing. And they use barrio bread, so these bread forward dishes come out really nicely. They toast the bread perfectly. It's something I geek out about because, you know, some sandwiches destroy your mouth, but here, no, it's like a light crunch on the outside and still nice and moist on the inside. Next slide, please.
Done.
All right, and then Seasons Eats. You might remember them as Four Seasons back on Miracle Mile back in the day. Thai restaurant. They were known for their hillbilly fried rice, but they have curries, soups. They opened where on the strip on Speedway where Nudies is. Used to be 1702 over there. So you just kind of park over by Nudies and then
Speedway in Campbell area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so walk over there and yeah, noodles. I took this photo a few weeks ago as well too. Small family run operation. All right, and Sonoran House, Sam Hughes location. Originally, they were a coffee shop, gift shop kind of situation, but they opened in the space that used to house Flora's Market Run. And now they have full kitchen, full bar, espresso martini flights. They're leaning into that. They have a chef now with their full kitchen making a variety of approachable dishes. You have a little more adventurous ones like bone marrow, or you have house-made potato chips and caviar. So if you want to throw down $68 for a lunch for no reason, you can do that as well. But they also have sandwiches, salads, hearty portions.
And I was just going to note that this beautiful photo was taken by Jackie, as were the other ones. So we're just really lucky to have them.
Oh, and they make all their bread in-house as well too. So like Japanese milk bread or focaccia, this and that. So that's something that they deserve a lot of credit for. All right, and then Sunshine Wine. This is 888 steps away from me, according to my watch. So I get to go there pretty often. It's from the same people who own Westbound and Tap and Bottle. So the very valuable local part of our community. Remember, great people, happy staff. It's in a bungalow. There's a little front porch where you can just sit in a little rocking chair, sipping on some wine or some spritzes. But they also have a pretty impressive kitchen. So it's the kind of place you can bring a group of people together and order multiple shared plates, very vegetable forward, nothing too heavy and reasonably priced. Like you can get a bottle of wine and enough food to fill up everyone for, let's see, 3 people for $100. So by Tucson standards, to be able to do that, that's pretty great right now. Young chef that's pushing a lot of things with fermentation, koji this, koji that. Yeah, Wyatt does a great job.
They have my favorite ice cream in all of Tucson. It reminds me of like a nice, sweet, almost like Chex Mix. And I know it doesn't sound appealing, but it's delicious. And I don't even like ice cream. And it like took me back to like sitting in front of the TV on a Saturday morning and, you know, eating my cereal and then drinking that milk. Really, really good.
All right, and then we have Uncorked over on the east side, over on Wilmot and Pima, I think is where the intersection.
About, yeah.
Yeah, right before it becomes Tinker Verde. It used to be the Saddlehorn. That's kind of where all the 40-year-old men used to go complain about their wives at the dive bar kind of vibe. But yeah, that place is gone. The people over at the Cork, formerly Jonathan's Cork, bought it, and it's kind of a swanky-ish little lounge now. So lots of great food, steak frites, hummus with pita made in house sort of situation. I had a chicken fried duck there last week, I believe, as well too.
I had a burger there that was really good.
Oh yeah, yeah. Green Goddess fish and chips with walleye they use as the fish, so kind of a little Midwest influence on that.
It's the same owners who own the Cork. So yeah, Uncorked, and then there's the Cork. And they also have a very interesting food program there. I think you can get some really exotic meats there.
But that's more so at the Cork, right?
At the Cork, at the Cork.
Oh yeah,
The sister.
They're open a little bit late the kitchen is open kind of late for the east side as well, so that's a good option to have in mind. And then Tinajas over on the northeast side of town, Sunrise and Kolb wine and beer bar, but mostly a wine focused sort of situation. They have these fancy machines to where they push the button and it pours out the wine in perfect portions essentially. But my favorite part, they probably have the nicest restrooms in
They
all of
do.
Tucson.
They do.
It's like you open the door and is that like a $600 bidet situation in there? The toilet, it startled me too because the lid was self-opening. I was like, like it shook me for a second, but
It even air dries you. It's very nice.
All right, and then Charles Steak, they opened Casas Adobes location where Charo Vida used to be. It's mostly the same menu as the downtown location. It's a slightly smaller space, so they don't have as much of the seafood options, but you can still get your seafood tower with your lobster tail and king crab, etc. Yeah, great appetizers, great vibe. They have Chef Roderick Ledesma over there now. He used to be the chef de cuisine over at PY Steakhouse. I consider him to be one of the top 5 chefs in Tucson, straight up. So it's I'm excited to see how much he adds to them with him on the team now.
Yeah, and he was at Maynard's just recently too. Yeah, great talent there. So those were the restaurants that have opened, well, some of the restaurants that have opened this year. We do have a guide on the website, one of the many that we have, dedicated to the restaurants that have opened in 2025. So I do encourage you to check out our website to check out that guide. But now we've got some restaurants that we're excited about that are opening soon, later in the fall.
All right, Ursa. So this one is where Bluefront used to be / 1055 Brewing downtown on Congress. And I'm particularly excited for this. It started out, he had kind of a pop-up restaurant in El Centro where he's from. And it is that kind of actual modern upscale that Bata is the closest thing we have at the moment, but they're focused on desert ingredients. So, foraged ingredients. We're thinking of our things that go around here like mesquite and tepary. They don't even use beef or chicken. It's mostly the wild game like partridge or elk situation like that. So it's going to be interesting how far they push the bar downtown.
Yeah, they really want to source everything locally. So that'll be exciting.
All right. Miramonte, the same folks that own Contigo and
Look at
Contigo Lion Kitchen and
Locale.
Locale over on Broadway and Alvernon. So it's over on Speedway and Alvernon-ish.
Yeah, it's going to open where that Whole Foods is.
Yeah, if you've driven by there recently, you'll see there's been quite a lot of construction and it looks a lot more modern now. So that'll be a nice hip addition to the neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one. They're actively hiring, so hopefully that means they're opening very soon. I don't actually know what the cuisine is there. Do you know?
It's kind of a mishmash, modern, new American, approachable kind of vibe. Like upscale casual, I guess you can call it maybe.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. Those were some of the. Are there any other ones on your horizon that you're aware of?
Not that I can think of right now. Yesterday or today we have a Chef Brian's Comfort Kitchen opening. He used to be over in the east side on Broadway, but he relocated over to the High Points neighborhood. So there's a lot of soul food there. My favorite collard greens in town. I had some fried chicken sandwiches, some salmon croquettes, or these fried salmon nuggets yesterday, dusted in cornmeal, and those were great. But yeah, I just finished on the side editing a video for that right now. Yes. Oh, Chef Brian's Comfort Kitchen. Yeah, he was a contestant on Top Chef 20-something years ago.
Whoa.
Actually.
I didn't know Master Chef or Top Chef went that far.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, quite a bit. And then, yeah, he established his roots in Tucson about 5 years ago. He was on 4th Ave and then Broadway and then now over at the Five Points location, but it seems to be the right spot for him now.
Nice. I really like that 5 Points corner. It's really, really happening. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good food there. So those are some of the restaurants that opened this year that we're excited about. Like I said, check out our guide to see the full list. If we publish the full list, we would be here talking all day. So I do encourage you to go check that out. Thanks, Jackie. Now we've got some upcoming events. I didn't post all of them. We've got a great event calendar on the website as well. These were just some of the ones that are happening in like the next 2 weeks. Desert Magic event that Shane mentioned earlier at the Tohono Chul. So that'll be great. The Salsa Taco and Tequila Challenge. Saka is just a great community partner. They're always putting on events. This is going to be their next one, the Salsa Taco and Tequila Challenge. Have you guys been to a lot of Saka events? They've got this one. They've got Savor, which takes place at Botanical Gardens, and they take over the entire garden, and you just get to sample and. No? There we go. Okay. And you just get to sample and drink everything for an entire day in like the most, gorgeous garden, and the weather's great. So I encourage you to check out their calendar of events as well. They do a lot of arts focused events as well, not just food. So that's coming up. And then the vegan night market that Shane alluded to earlier, down the street, Rito Farmers Market. And then Sonoran Restaurant Week. We're thrilled that we have over 100 restaurants this year. There'll be all over town, so every corner. Great menu prices, $15, $25, $35, $45, and $55. And they'll have prefix menus that you can go and order that'll be different from their regular menu offerings. So it'll just be a great way to check out places that you haven't been to at a great value. So I encourage you to follow us for that as well. Hey, now it's Tucson City of Gastronomy time. I'm thrilled that for this portion we got to invite Jonathan Mabry, who I will let introduce himself, but he oversees Tucson City of Gastronomy.
Well, thank you for having me here today. And I run the nonprofit that manages Tucson's UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy designation that we received in 2015. Who knows who UNESCO is? All right. That's good. That's more than usual. UNESCO is the United Nations. It's an agency of the United Nations called the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. And it's most well known for designating World Heritage Sites around the world. And those World Heritage Sites are considered of global significance. That's how they get that type of designation. We have 2 in Arizona. What do you think those 2 are? Grand Canyon. That's correct. What's the other one? No, it's the Taliesin West, designed by Frank Lloyd Wright, a very famous American architect in history. So in 2004, UNESCO created this new program called the Creative Cities Network. And so I'm going to explain to you what this designation that Tucson holds, what is it? So when we joined in 2015, we became one of only 18 UNESCO Creative Cities of Gastronomy around the world. Well, now there's 56. And there's now 300 designated creative cities in 100 different countries. And cities can apply to get designated in any of these creative fields. There's 8 of them. Let me see if I can remember them without peeking. Crafts and folk art, literature, music, film, design, media arts, and gastronomy. Did I do it? All right. Oh, I was waiting. All right, come on, change it. Oh, I'm supposed to do that. There's actually 9 UNESCO creative cities in the U.S. So yeah, so Iowa City and Seattle are creative cities of literature. Who's heard of the Iowa Writers Workshop? Okay. Then both Paducah, Kentucky, and Santa Fe are cities of crafts and folk art. Paducah, it's for their what they call fiber art, quilts, It's actually, they have amazing quilt collections there, and it is quite a vibrant tradition in that part of the country. And then Detroit is a city of design, of course, right? And San Antonio is the only other city of gastronomy. They got designated right after us. We still have bragging rights as being the first. Austin is a city of media arts. Think of South by Southwest and all the other amazing things in Austin. And I think I've covered them. Yeah. Kansas City, city of music. Who's heard of Kansas City jazz? Yeah, yeah. So I mentioned that there's 56 creative cities of gastronomy around the world. And this isn't even all of them. I need to update the map, but it gives you an idea of how, how they're spread out across the planet. People ask me all the time, why did Tucson get the designation? Well, I'm gonna tell you about that. And I'm spoiler alert, I'm gonna give you the elevator version right up front. When I have to explain to people the way I sum it all up, it's because we have the longest continuous agricultural history in the US, and we have a lot of innovative things happening in our local food system. That's the elevator version. Now I'm just gonna go through more reasons than that. So I mentioned that we have the longest agricultural history in north of Mexico. My background is in archaeology, and I'm very proud that my team of archaeologists back in the year 2000, we were the ones who found the evidence at that location, which is known as Tucson's birthplace, that habitation and agriculture goes back in that spot more than 4,000 years without interruption, which at that time I remember being interviewed and I said to the reporter, well, that makes Tucson the longest continuously inhabited and cultivated place in the US that we know about. That's been documented with archaeological evidence. And it was so funny. That really spread fast. Tucsonans became very proud of that fact. And I remember being out and about at social events and just overhearing people just weeks later, after I said that to a reporter, weeks later, somebody saying, did you know? So it's a fact that the Tucsonans are very proud of. And it's very interesting. Here in the desert, people are so surprised that we have this long, deep agricultural history here. We also have our cuisine. When I'm asked to describe our cuisine, I describe it as culturally layered. Of course, we have the foundation, which is indigenous foods of the desert, the wild edible foods of the desert that have been harvested for many thousands of years. We don't know exactly how far back. We have archaeological evidence in the Tucson Basin of at least of mammoth hunters trucking through here 12,000 years ago. But the earliest archaeological evidence of people really foraging the desert goes back about 5,000 years here. And people either don't know or they forget. We also have a more than 300-year tradition of orchards and vineyards and wheat farming and cattle ranching, all of those introduced during the Spanish colonial period. Most of those introduced by Father Kino. So he was a pivotal figure in our food story. And of course, after those Spanish colonial introductions of foods, which mostly came from the Mediterranean area, then in the mid 1800s, Americans started trickling in, and then the big change was when the railroad arrived in 1880, and we finally got connected to national markets and international markets. and Americans started arriving on the train in large numbers, and they introduced their foods and their food traditions. And then cattle ranching really developed, and that cowboy cuisine developed and influenced our food here. And you can go out to Tanque Verde Guest Ranch, for example, and have a what's it called, the cookout out of the back of the wagon. What's it called? Chuck wagon. You can have yeah. That's that cowboy cuisine. And then, of course, Chinese started arriving even before the railroad, but then they did arrive in numbers as laborers building the railroad, and a lot of them stayed, and they introduced their foods and their food traditions, and so forth and so on. So the way I sum up Tucson's cuisine is culturally layered, and it's a mix of indigenous and immigrant food traditions that have been influencing each other for a very long time. And so you can find relatively, I'm not going to say authentic or pure, but if you want to experience, well, I want to experience what that food tradition tastes like. There's places you can go in Tucson, but we also have this other level of cuisine here that's mixing them. And some of those interesting things happening in our restaurant scene are all the chefs that are creating new dishes with ancient ingredients. It's very interesting what's happening. There's also revivals of these heritage crops, these heirloom crops. Who's heard of Sonoran white wheat? Well, Don Guerra was a big part of that revival. And Sonoran white wheat was the very first variety of wheat introduced into the New World by the Spanish during the 1500s. And it grew well here and spread. And it was the very first wheat to be grown in what's now the southwestern U.S. And it became an important food staple for the Tohono O'odham and the Yaqui or Yome Native Americans, whose homeland is in Sonora in the Yaqui River Valley. Well, Sonoran white wheat became Arizona's first export crop. And it was grown in quantity, especially on the Gila River Indian Reservation, and sold to the U.S. Army. It fed the garrisons in Arizona, and it was exported actually as a cash crop, commodity crop. But it gradually went out of use, and it almost completely disappeared. And one of the last places it was still being cultivated was by the Yaqui in the Yaqui River Valley in Sonora. And it was reintroduced to the Tucson area in 2011, and it took off again. And Don Guerra and other bakers are baking amazing breads with it. A number of our local craft brewers are making wonderful beers with it. And you'll see it more and more. Chefs are using it in interesting ways, just the wheat berries in their dishes. So that's an example of this heritage grain that we almost completely lost, but has been reintroduced and is really undergoing a revival. I would be remiss if I didn't mention before that, when the Tohono O'odham Nation, when the Central Arizona Project Canal finally reached Tucson, bringing Colorado River water more than 300 miles to Tucson, they won rights to that water in court because historically they had been robbed of their water rights. So they've got a legally guaranteed allotment, and with that irrigation water, they revived their traditional crops. So their corn, their beans, their squash, their melons, a variety of these traditional indigenous crops or crops that were introduced from Mesoamerica very far back in time have been brought back and revived. So those are other examples of these heritage crops that have undergoing a revival. We have more than 30 restaurants that source their ingredients from local farms right around Tucson. And Pivot Produce has developed a whole business, a local food distributor that specializes in delivering locally grown foods from our farms right here. Some of them are in the city itself to these farm-to-table restaurants. Shane told you about, and Addie told you about a number of Tucson Foodies events coming up. Well, we've got a lot of food and drink events, culinary events on our annual calendar here in Tucson, and it increases every year. And a couple of years ago, I did an inventory and identified the 35 top attended annual culinary events in the Tucson area and contacted the event organizers and learned that those 35 top events, almost 1 million people attend them every year. And now we have a whole slate of new events. So I'm sure it's even higher now. So we also have a very fast growing local food economy and a very strong entrepreneurship ecosystem that supports local food startup businesses. There are a lot of programs offered by nonprofits and the city and county governments. A lot of them are free. Also, Local First Arizona does programs like this in Southern Arizona. So this is a good place and a good time if you want to start a new food business. We're also very good at conserving our food biodiversity here, and also getting it out to the public. Who's heard of the Native Seed Search Seed Library? That is an amazing seed library, a seed bank started in the 1980s, and it conserves more than 2,000 varieties of desert-adapted plants. Almost all of them in their collections are food plants. But it is one of only 5. It is one of 5 seed banks in the Tucson area. The university has several of them, but we're doing a good. Also, who's heard of the Kino Heritage Trees Project? So at the working with the Desert Museum and the Mission Garden, those are heirloom fruit trees from Southern Arizona that are well adapted to our climate and our landscape, and they almost died out. And like all interesting projects, this started over margaritas, and there were 3 of us. One of them was a botanist, and then the archaeologist here, and then a geologist, really, but he was a really jack of all trades scientist. And we were having a good conversation, and we started talking about, hey, since a lot of fruit trees are propagated with cuttings, that means that technically they are genetic clones of the original plant of that variety that was introduced here. So feasibly, some of the varieties of fruit trees that Father Kino himself introduced here could still be represented here by genetic clones. And we should go out and find the oldest fruit trees in Southern Arizona, take cuttings and take their seeds and revive those. And that's how that project started. And luckily, Jesus Garcia, who grew up in Magdalena, Sonora, he took over the project, did a fantastic job. And now you can go and buy those heirloom fruit trees that are the best ones to grow here at Desert Survivors Nursery. Mission Garden sells them, and you can find them in other nurseries too. So that's a really cool project. And Native Seed Search, Native Americans can get seeds from that seed bank for free. And from a lot of the nurseries, Native Americans can also get plants for free. So there's other sources where if you're low income, you can get these types of plants for free. I'll tell you a place you can get these plants for free. Go to any of the 22 branches of the Pima County Public Library, take out your library card, and you can check out free desert adapted seeds to take home and plant in your yard and grow your own food. That's pretty cool. So we're doing a good job getting that food biodiversity out to the public. It's very accessible. The university also leads food research, and they're considered a global leader, not only in different areas of food research, but also education. I think there's something like 5 different food-related degrees that you can get at the university. We also have a number of training programs for people wanting to enter the culinary industry, and a number of them are designed for people that otherwise face obstacles to employment, like they just got out of prison, or I love Cafe 54 downtown. They train people who have cognitive issues, different psychological and mental issues that they're dealing with, but it trains them to work in a restaurant in all of the areas, in the kitchen, in the front of house, to the point where they can go out into the real world and get jobs in those areas. So check out Cafe 54. And they make great food too. We're also very good, very creative anyway, and it's developing more and more at reducing our food waste and diverting food waste from the landfill. You know, every U of A student group has a nickname, and it has to have the word cats in it, right? So there's an amazing student group at the university called the Compost Cats. And actually, they have really done well, and they've continued to grow. And they now have a contract with the city of Tucson to haul food waste from restaurants and grocery stores that sign up out to the Los Reales landfill. And the Compost Cats have a big area and very modern equipment now to process that food waste into compost that they then donate to community and school gardens and sell too. So that's pretty cool. The Compost Cats, funny name, cool group. Our Southern Arizona Community Food Bank is amazing, and it's considered a national leader in helping families that need food help. And it does it in very creative ways. A number of years ago, the food bank started focusing on poverty, because that's where hunger comes from, ultimately. And so they have different programs that teaches people how to grow their own food. It provides, I think in the past they have had some job training workshops and that sort of thing. Anyway, very innovative set of programs. They're coming up with new stuff all the time. They are seen as a leader in very successful, very efficient organization in feeding the needy, but also very innovative in how they address the underlying problems of hunger. We have an amazing school garden program. Started at Monza Elementary School in Menlo Park neighborhood, where the teachers there started using their school garden as a teaching tool. What are they going to use that for? Well, they teach science, can teach math, can teach. They use it now to teach English. They use it to teach a variety of subjects. The kids love it, and it's now in more than 20 TUSD schools. It's been replicated. And you know what? For a lot of these school kids, it's the first time that they understand where food comes from. You mean it doesn't come from the grocery store? It's also the first time for many of them to learn what is healthy eating, what are healthy foods. And you know what? They take those lessons home to their families. So it's a fantastic program. Again, it's a national model. It's considered. It's the University of Arizona Community and School Garden Program has really led that. And now they're developing a new public facing center called Sprouts House. Sprouts Grocery gave the U of A Community and School Garden Program a $1 million grant to fix up a couple of old bungalows next to Mansfield Middle School, just south of the university campus. And you're going to be able to go there pretty soon. It's going to open, I think, this fall, and take classes, see cooking demonstrations, see presentations about our local food system and how you can start your own gardens at home or in your neighborhood. It's going to be great. We've got a lot of grassroots groups in the community that are advocating for ways to improve our food system. So people who don't have easy access to fresh, healthy food can have better access, or the hungry can be better fed through groups like Tucson Food Share that will deliver food to homes that need the help. So the Pima County Food Alliance is a regional food policy council that makes recommendations about food policies for our city and county governments to think about. And we've got grassroots groups that are doing amazing things like Flowers and Bullets on the south side. They have their own urban farm there, and they raise goats, I think. But they have a lot of community education too. Amazing grassroots group. We also have some innovative food policies. The city a few years ago changed its zoning laws to make it easier to grow and sell food in the city and to raise small livestock in your backyards, chickens and even goats, rabbits. But our organization often has student interns from the university. And one semester, this young woman, she wanted to focus in the policy area. And so we thought that was great. And she came up with the idea, she studied the issues, what's holding back urban farming in Tucson? And she identified, well, one of the main obstacles is the cost of water. Urban farmers were having to pay what we pay, the rates that we pay at our houses. And that's a lot. They use a lot more water than houses. And so it was a very expensive cost for them. Well, this student identified that as the obstacles, and then we worked with her and we developed a white paper, a policy recommendation to the city council to create a special discounted water rate for urban farmers. Because we're a nonprofit, there's limits to how much lobbying we're allowed to do by the IRS and keep our nonprofit status. There's a limit to how much lobbying we can do for specific legislation like this it would be. And we handed it off to our partners at the Pima County Food Alliance, and they went and talked to all the city council members and the mayor. And last year, the council adopted a pilot program that they just extended again this year that gives a significantly discounted water rate for small urban farms that sell, that mostly grow food and sell most of their food through outlets that accept food aid like SNAP benefits, EBT cards, and that sort of thing. Pretty cool. Again, I think it's a national model. We have the Community Investment Corporation and some other sources of very low interest loans for food business startups or minority owned businesses that don't have access to capital. So we have some very innovative small loan programs here that are either zero interest or very low interest or very interesting concepts of being paid back based on the business's revenues. Pretty interesting idea. We have some upcoming events too. We're going to sponsor a session at the upcoming Good Food Foreman at the El Conquistador Resort. I forget the full name of it. You know where it is in Oro Valley. It's going to be on August 26th. And I think our session, I didn't get to name the session. It's called The Desert is Delicious or something like that. But we're sponsoring that session, and we're bringing 2 chefs that are going to do some cooking demonstrations that you'll be able to taste. And the theme is heritage ingredients and fermentations. Kind of an interesting topic and tasty. And then we're going to have the 4th year of our Pueblos del Maíz Festival, September 25th to the 28th, and there's a whole website for that. And we partnered with the Fox Theater for their 2nd year of the Music and Morsels event. And that's where professional chefs that our nonprofit, Tucson City of Gastronomy, we train chef ambassadors to represent us around the world. And we pair some of our chef ambassadors with musicians. There's a theme, and the musicians write original songs, original pieces of music around that theme, and the chefs they invent dishes paired to the theme and those pieces of music. And last year it was a big hit, so we're doing it again this year with the Fox Theater. And then I know this is everybody's favorite, the Tucson Cocktail and Perfect Bite Challenge. And Tucson Foodie has been a co-sponsor of that. And we do it at St. Philip's Plaza on a beautiful evening. And it's a great event. It's a contest. We get some of the top mixologists in town to compete for Cocktail of the Year. And last year we added the food competition where I think we had 5 chefs to match the 5 mixologists who were the finalists, 5 chefs competing for the perfect bite of the year. And we have music, and it's a lot of fun. So those are some of our upcoming events. And if you want to learn more, please visit our website, tucson.cityofgastronomy.org. And you can also reach out to me by email. And that's all I got.
Well, thank you very much. So who had a question? Okay, so I'm going to go over here. Addie, if you want to stand there.
I'll stand on the blue.
Stand on the blue.
Can you hear me? Is this yeah. Okay. I also don't want to brag, but my husband came in 2nd at the Cocktail Perfect Bite Challenge. So I don't know. Put it on your calendar.
Okay, thank you. Jonathan, that was fascinating. Thank you for such a broad presentation. My question is about plastics in the food chain, in our bodies. There's a plastics treaty being negotiated already. What are both of your organizations doing to educate people about plastics in the food chain and avoiding it?
We've been working for some years now, pre-COVID, BC, before COVID, on a program that would offer, that would subsidize compostable to-go food containers. And we wanted to focus on our South Side Mexican restaurants that use a lot of styrofoam. And we actually surveyed 3 of the restaurants that we certified on the South Side, how many styrofoam containers do you go through on average in a month? And it was in the tens of thousands. So it's a real problem. Before COVID, BC, we came close to getting Cisco Foods to sponsor this program and provide that subsidy. So the underlying problem is those restaurant owners can go to a restaurant supply store and buy those styrofoam containers for like 3 cents each. So, big quantities of them, they're, at that scale. And then, so, how can we yeah, so they're going to pick the most affordable containers, right? So we need to subsidize the compostables. And we need to and we don't need to focus on the upscale restaurants in town. They're already using those compostable takeout containers. So we really need to reach those Southside Mexican restaurants and get them to change their minds. The only thing that's going to change their minds is if it's not costing them anymore. So we really are still looking for a sponsor who would, or a grant, or an angel investor who this strikes a chord with them. So please let me know if you know anybody like that.
Great, thanks.
There's 4 historic bungalows on the north side of Broadway, and during the widening of the street, the Rio Nuevo district paid to have those 4 moved back out of the way so they didn't have to get knocked down, and keep that. That's actually a neighborhood historic district right there to decrease the impacts of the road widening on that historic neighborhood. And then a developer put in a bid to Rio Nuevo, who owns those properties, with an idea to develop those 4 together and fix those up and build some new built structures in the back and make it a retail restaurant, coffee shop complex with a large outdoor area for events and a large kitchen that could be used to teach cooking classes and that sort of thing. So it's still underway, and they came to us and asked if they could use our name, Tucson City of Gastronomy. So it's going to be called the Tucson City of Gastronomy Collective. It's still in the works. It takes a long time for developers to put all those pieces together, especially the financing. But my understanding, it's still happening.
Any questions? Other questions? Okay. Pass this to you.
Is either organization having food events at the Mission Gardens?
We're doing one this fall. Yeah, our plan is to do one. We're going to partner with them on an event focused on heritage foods of the Sonoran Desert. And there will be food ready to eat, but also food you can take home, and there'll be music, and we're still working out the details. So if you follow the Mission Garden or us, you'll see news about that.
We have you got a question, Mike?
I've heard differing opinions about whether or not there is a history of Basque, B-A-S-Q-E, food and heritage in Tucson, including the origin of the name Tucson. Is there a Basque food heritage here, and is it in evidence in any of the current restaurants?
The question is there a Basque influence on our cuisine and food culture here? That's a new one for me. There are Mediterranean influences in Spain in the 1500s. If you were Jewish, you had to keep that quiet. You had to say you were Christian or go in front of the Inquisition. So there was a large community of what scholars call crypto-Jews who had to hide their religious faith, who moved to northeastern Mexico and they brought a number of their food traditions with them. So if you're eating a Mexican food dish with goat in it, that came from them. Also, barbacoa came from them. And there's a number of other dishes that I'm not going to remember off the top of my head. But anyway, I know that there's that influence. I wouldn't be surprised if there's Basque influence, but I don't know about it.
Okay. All right. Before we go too far, I just want to have Addie tell you about some extra benefit for you being here today. As an added surprise, you don't have to look under your chair. There's nothing under your chair. It's right up here. So Addie's going to tell you about a wonderful gift from Tucson Foodie.
Thank you, because we almost forgot. We've got the app, like I mentioned. It's part of our community membership program. And as a thank you for being here, is this better? And as a thank you for being here, if you download the app from the App Store, you'll go to the bottom. It says join. You'll put in your email address, and then you'll enter in promo code OLLI-Foodie. Hopefully that's super easy to remember, but you'll also get the deck and email later. You'll get a month free. So we're excited about that. Please use it during Sonoran Restaurant Week. Look at all of the upcoming events. We've got a lot on there with a lot of exclusive perks for everyone. For example, I think there's an event at the Los Ventana, and it's a Spanish paella themed event, and our members will get 20% off to that. If you were interested in any of the other events that we showed you, we usually offer either 50% off or a small discount or a perk just for being a member. So I just didn't want you guys to leave without anything.
We had a couple comments online too that I'd like to share for, I guess related to the passport. Somebody asked, is the passport part of the $20 per month fee that we were talking about earlier?
It is, yeah. So you'll have access to the app with all of those vouchers to restaurants, local restaurants, and then access to events that we get discounts to, and the Tucson Foodie events as well, like our monthly member mixers. We had one this week at Tanque Verde Ranch. The chef was an Iron Chef runner-up, and she had some great poached little lobsters on a macaron that she made. It was just really cool. Free wine and beer if that's ever enticing to anyone. And the charcuterie, and then our monthly dinners as well. Every month we partner with a chef. This month we're working with Chef David Solorzano at Augustine Kitchen, and he's putting together a very special menu for us on Monday. It's part of his research and development, so they'll put together dishes that aren't necessarily part of their menu, but just something that they've been wanting to try. We'll do that. We also have a cookbook club every month that we do as well. Everyone chooses a recipe from the same book, and it's just a great way to try different recipes from the book without you having to have made and bought all the ingredients. I love that. So yeah, I think I answered the question, and then I took a detour.
That's all right. The other question was, what cuisine is missing in Tucson?
Ooh, Spanish.
Any cannibalism that we have?
I do have to apologize for Scott. I'm sorry. It's just, it's a burden we all bear. His humor is a burden we all bear, but he means well. Yeah.
Yeah.
On Congress, yeah.
The world's huge. There's a ton of countries that we don't have coverage for, but one that I do hold personally, because Sierra Vista has the edge on this here.
German.
Exactly.
Yeah.
German cuisine. It's like if you want German cuisine, you have to drive down to Sierra Vista for that. But let's see, thankfully, there's this big map on the side right there that I can reference to. But yeah, a lot of Eastern Europe in general, we're lacking coverage in that. Most of the African cuisine we have in Tucson is mostly along Ethiopia or Eritrea. We have one Somali and we have one West African restaurant, but places like Ghana, Morocco, there's quite a lot of cuisine there that's not being represented here as well. And we need more representation from other regions of Mexico. We have a lot of Sonoran cuisine and people that are very near and dear to the Tucson Mexican cuisine we have here. They're just leaning more towards the Sonoran. That's where it really is. We have El Antojo Poblano, but otherwise it's a little more sparse. We have a couple of Oaxacan places. Yes, you had a question?
We need a mic.
How did Tucson manage to become the first to get the designation? Somebody was really on the ball, and there must have been some politics involved in that as well.
It was the idea of Gary Nabhan. Who's heard of Gary? Read one of his books. Amazing guy. He's an anthropologist, an ethnobotanist, a great writer, and a great visionary. He won a MacArthur Fellow grant at one point in one of those genius fellowships. I'm fortunate that he's been my friend for decades, and we've collaborated on a number of things. And when I was working at the city of Tucson as the historic preservation officer, he came to me and the mayor at the time, Jonathan Rothschild, and told us about this new program that UNESCO had cooked up, and that we should apply. The official applicant has to be the mayor, and he explained to us, what it was, what the application process was, and what the how cool it would be if we got that designation. And the mayor turned to me and said, "All right, Jonathan, I want you to write it." So I actually put a whole team of people together and had a lot of help. So it came from Gary, and it was a team effort, and we didn't get it the first try. We received this nice letter back from UNESCO saying, Tucson just missed the scoring cutoff. But you're on firm footing. Here's a couple of areas where you could strengthen your application. We encourage you to reapply. And by the way, no city has gotten it their first try. So we thought, that's all cool. That's pretty encouraging. Let's go for it again. The next call for applications comes out. All the questions had changed. We couldn't just dust off the old application and make it better. So anyway, we started from scratch again, but had great help, and we got it across the finish line in 2015.
Super. I think we're just going to take one more question. Anybody else with a question?
We had somebody online asking, and I'm sure with Foodie you cover all sorts of topics. Have you ever done anything on the art of plating?
Are they talking about the event? Because there's an event.
Maybe that's what they were requiring.
Good news, we're bringing it back. It's been like 5 years since we've done that event. We're finally bringing it back. We're doing it at the Tucson Botanical Gardens in November. I don't remember the date. But the art of plating, for those of you that don't know, it's all about the beauty and the aesthetics of food. So we're gathering all the chefs in town who appreciate that and are good at plating beautiful food. And they make a beautiful plate. And they also make hundreds of tiny little samples of that so that we can walk around the garden, judge how beautiful their plate is, taste it, judge how good it tastes, and drink some wine. So take a look out for that in November. If you get on our newsletter list, you'll get the invitation.
Well, that's great.
There's one other question about the passport really fast. If it applies to couples, or is it just one person, or how does that work?
A lot of couples will share a passport, but you can dine together. So a lot of couples have both of their memberships. So if you go to a place and you get $20 off, you're going to get $40 off if you both have a membership. Yep.
So you don't have to sit separately at different tables.
You don't.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's your preference. And you do have to be a member to come to our mixers and stuff. So you should both grab one. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this has been really terrific, folks. I hope you had an enjoyable time here. I want to thank our friends. I want to thank our friends at Tucson Foodie. And Jonathan, thank you so much for your information on City of Gastronomy. And you have...
Joe, just also related, one of our great members on the chat reminded us that we have several events where as we go to the Tucson Food Bank to help do boxing for food and things as members. So there's a lot of dining out events and a lot of great social activities with OLLI. And we just hope you'll check out our amazing catalog. There's a little something for everyone, and just like we got today. So I appreciate it.
And especially if you're new to Tucson, this is a great place that you can meet new friends and meet people and go out to dinner with them. It's been really a terrific place.